And welcome back. I'm Natasha Elkington, your host at the GLF conference in Bonn 2018. And I'm here with Jyotsna Puri, who is the head of the Independent Evaluation Unit at the Green Climate Fund. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, Natasha, for having me here.
Thank you. So I understand that your job at the Green Climate Fund is to ensure financial institutions is accountable. Please tell us more about that.
Yeah. It's an interesting challenge. So as you might know, the Green Climate Fund was set up as a consequence of the Paris Accord. Mm-hmm. And it really reflects the commitment that countries made as a result to ensure that there is sufficient investment as well as action taking place with respect to mitigation, adaptation, and cross-cutting issues. So the Green Climate Fund is a financial mechanism of the UNFCCC. The board, when it's set up and saw the GCF evolving, and we are, depending on how you count, in our 5th or 6th year of implementation, realized quite early on that it was really important for us to also know whether we are doing things right, but also whether we are doing the right things. And in its wisdom, and I really have to commend the board of the GCF for this, that in the governing instrument of the Green Climate Fund, a very important and critical clause was to establish the Independent Valuation Unit, because it quickly recognized that accountability, but more importantly, learning doesn't occur by itself. And you really need to create a culture around learning, around knowing that yes, there is going to be an independent organization which knows the institution well enough but reports directly to the board. That helps the institution learn as it goes along. So my office was set up essentially when I joined last year. Okay. Very exciting. And so I think its twin pillars, accountability and learning, have been underscored and reiterated over and over again. But personally for me, and I don't think I contradict anything in the governing instrument, I really hold the learning function as being really critical, because the fund is still at a very early stage of its evolution. And it's really now that it can course correct and leapfrog. Okay. So it can learn from other institutions, learn what they've learned, and really realize the ambition of our generation. And I really think this is the fund, we will never see a fund like this again, I think. Yeah. With this ambition, with this mandate, and so it's really the chance of a generation, and I'm truly excited.
Well, that's great. Yes, it is exciting. So I guess one of the issues is when you're talking about accountability, we've covered learning. Like it's an issue in the NGO world. How do you combat that? Like how do you measure?
Yeah.
Or monitor?
Absolutely. So I've thought long and hard about this, and the one thing I think that will not come as a surprise to many who know me is that I do think measurement is an important part of accountability. It's not the only part, and I say this with a huge amount of humility, because there are many things in life that are immeasurable but critical and vital. Happiness is one of them. So clearly not everything is measurable. But what is true for the Green Climate Fund and for a whole lot of international NGOs is that we can look at the likelihood and the probability of success. Yeah? And you can gauge that both from the structure, the design, but also examining as to whether institutions are doing things right and doing the right thing. So within the Green Climate Fund, we, for example, look at how is the GCF making investments in the right things? Are those investments being implemented in the right way? Because those are critical indicators of whether this is going in the right direction. Right. So the likelihood, and we are, this is a climate fund, so it's fairly comfortable with probabilities and likelihoods, and high confidence and low confidence and standard errors. So that's a huge and tremendous benefit of also having an institution where people seem to understand that yes, likelihoods are important, and that's how you can think about success or lack thereof. One other thing is important that I would underscore is, of course, in the overarching NGO world, this idea of recognizing that you should have core benefits and that you should have the environment and growth and social equity all coming together is really important. This is a challenge for all of science as well, by the way. I mean, looking at whether we are achieving core benefits, but even planning for them and planning for them right at the beginning is really important. And it's not clear yet that not just the NGO world, but just the non-NGO worlds. So if you look at impact investing, for example, whether they're doing the measurement in the right way, and that's the non-NGO world, it's the private equity world, it's the investment world, it's the private sector world. And are they measuring impact in the way that they should be? And that's not actually happening, I'm dismayed to say. So I think we have the chance here to set precedents and also create learning across the world on how you can do this better, how you can measure impact better.
Great. Well, thank you so much for joining us. It's a real pleasure to have you.
Thank you, Natasha.
And I wish you good luck in your plenary session.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.